Ha! Ooh. Caught that before recording, that was good. Stay down now during the recording session, please. I slept for 9 hours last night. 3 times more than I usually sleep. I'm still trying to recover from excessive sleep. Whew! Here we go! I feel like I'm taller. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 91 of the 10-minute modeling challenge. So last week we did the minecart, that was a super basic thing, and now I'm going to be mixing from like the start of 10-minute modeling challenge to the end of it. We're going to mix it all. So first, in the 10-minute session, I'm going to model a character. Model? Sounds like yodeling. I'm going to model a character, which I've done quite a lot in the past. But I'm going to do like a mech warrior, but not the two, well, there's going to be the two-legged ones, but with arms and a head and stuff. Maybe a little bit like Transformer-like, but it's not going to transform. Tried to figure out ways to do a Transformer in 10 minutes. That didn't work. So I'm going to do like sort of like, I don't know. When I grew up, I watched some cartoons and stuff, and they always had giant, like low legs for some reason, and like big shoulders, small head. I don't know. Yeah. Sounds like I'm describing myself. Big head, small shoulder. No, big. Small head, big shoulders. I don't know. I'm not even that big. I'm just digging myself a grave now. I'm not big, muscly. I just had wide shoulders when I grew up as a kid, just to get that clear. I'm not trying to claim that I'm strong or anything. Anyway, a lot of stuff going on right there that I had no intention to say. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to model a character again, and in the 10 minutes I'm going to do the actual shape of it, and then we're going to do some bonus material. The first bonus material is going to be rigging it, which I haven't done in a while actually, in quite a few videos, maybe 10-20 episodes. So if you're new to the channel, check that out. We're going to do some rigging today. And then I'm going to model him a weapon, and I'm going to stick it in his hand, and then we'll do a pose. I'm not going to animate him today, but I'm going to do a pose. And then for the magic part, I'm going to take that scene and then we're going to render it with some lighting effects. And that's going to take it to the next level, I think. Because in the last few weeks, I've been spending a lot of time with lighting stuff and trying to get colors right. So it's all a learning process for me. And I'm glad that you're joining me in this process and that you're learning along the way, hopefully. So we're going to take it from the default cube here. And we're going to have ourselves a little journey right now. And settle back for episode 91. I have no idea how long this is going to be, but the modeling part, as usual, is going to be 10 minutes. So I might have some tinkering time though afterwards, just in case I need to rectify some disasters. I'm going to set my keyboard all ready here, and we're going to have ourselves a 10-minute modeling sessions right now. We're heading to 200k as well. Give it a subscribe if you haven't already, and we're going to make a 24-hour live stream when we hit the 200k. That's not that far away now, so. All right, with that said, let's get modeling ourselves a robot. I to inset. No. Oh, someone's calling. No, I stopped the stupid. Oh, okay. I think I've got 1 minute to go. So I'm annoyed now. Here we go again. Ready, steady, go. Tab into edit mode. 8 select everything. Auto mirror we need first. Scale, G, move it. I'm gonna make a torso. Usually I make the characters about 2 meters high, so it's a bit easier to know what I'm going for. So let's move the hip in. We're going to do like a triangle shape on the hip here. And then I'm going to do Shift D to duplicate that one. G to move it. Rotate about that much. And then scale. What I'm going to do now, actually, I'm going to rotate it on like an angle. So I get the pointiness forward here. We're going for low poly, of course. So, oh, I've got no screencast keys. There we go. Scale, down, G to move, E to extrude, S to scale. And here's going to be those weird mech legs. So I'm going to do some skinny parts there. Shift D, scale, G, E to extrude. And here we're going to make them big. And then let's bring them down to there. E to extrude, S to scale, rotate. And then feet, Shift D, move it down to there. Side view, E to extrude, R to rotate. And that's going to be the feet. E to extrude there, and E to extrude again, down to there. Move that down, low poly foot. Here we go. And move that in, groom that in. I'm not going to groom anything. There, scale. There, and maybe a bit wider. And then we'll fix this so it looks better. I think E to extrude, S to scale, R to rotate. Now let's go for the body here. So E to extrude, S to scale, E to extrude. Here's going to be the belly. E to extrude, or the stomach. E to extrude. E to extrude to scale. There we go. Rotate. Very wide for some reason. So let's make it less wide. Scale on the y-axis. Y. There. And then up there. And then we'll do the arms. So I'm going to do similar to the legs here. Side view. Shift D. Let's go to edit and go circle, because we want to make this into a square. So it's only 4 corners there. I'll slant it. And scale X0. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. And then E to extrude. That's too small. So scale. E to extrude. S to scale. E to extrude. S to scale. And then I'll just do Shift D. Scale that on. And here, big arms. Popeye style. Mech warrior arms. There we go. And then I'm going to do a hand here. Low poly hand like I normally do them. So I'll Shift D to duplicate that face. Rotate it. Scale on the Z axis. This is just so it can grip that weapon that we're going to put in his hand. So E to extrude and E to extrude that one. And E to extrude. Just simple low poly hand for this mech, unfortunately. So, and then a head. We need to get ahead of things. So I'm going to grab this shoulder thing, scale it, move it forward so I can see, scale, move it in, scale up, E to extrude, side view, and E to extrude, S to scale. And usually the head's like, again, like sunk in a little bit into the body here, I think. So scale, rotate, G, G. Okay. And then I have to make room for the head here. So I to inset, B, and E to extrude. It feels like I think I've done a character similar to this in an episode last year, actually, now, come to think of it. Did I even call it Mech or something? Probably. So, anyway, let's just pretend that we haven't made one of those. So, G, I'll have to make it look a little bit different then somehow. But saying that, I'm probably going to do the head very similar, because usually this is how I do my heads for low poly characters. Keep it simple like this. Maybe like this, like a knight's helmet. And then I'll do Control R, loop cut here, Control R, loop cut. And then I to inset, literally for the eye. And then colorize that one, maybe black for now. Maybe we can make the eyes light up a little bit later on, since we've got the texture. And if it looks stupid, like most of the time it does, just try to shape the eye a little bit to make it a little bit more aggressive or something. You can even go O for proportional. And then G, and then move it down. And then maybe we can scale this one up. No. Okay, so that was probably a bad idea. But anyway, try to shape the eye so it looks less dorky. And now I just make it look stupid. Okay. Let's pretend the eye looks alright for now. I can't let go of the eye, literally. And now I messed up the face. Never mind. You know what? We'll fix that in post. So let's make the arms a little bit more interesting, or the whole body now. I'm going to make like armor plates things. So just to exaggerate a little bit, let's put something on the legs here. So I've got 4 minutes 26 here on the clock. So let's go scale to scale those up. No, let's not. Let's go I to inset. And then Alt E, extrude long face normals. Scale that down maybe. G to move it. And I just want to put like pretend armor stuff here. So maybe I'll do E to extrude again. G to move that on. Rotate. And just pretending like this is some sort of armor plate thing. Like we did for this spider bot a little bit maybe. And here, let's not grab that. Scale. Okay, let's do something similar here for the arms. So we'll do Control R maybe on this one. E to extrude. E to extrude again. E to extrude. I'm just pretending like... Oh, I've got 2 things selected. E to extrude. Like these are some sort of shield things that he's got. And I've got proportional on, so I should be able to grab those to move out a little bit. put a rocket pack on the back. I think I did that for the last one too. So repeating history in itself here. So, and then Shift D to duplicate. No, I'm gonna Shift D so I don't get the attached one. Oop. Shift D, scale this one down, G to move it to there, E to extrude, and scale. Bring that out. Okay. They're gonna look like a clone of the other one. 252. Okay, I'm gonna try to put some more armor stuff on this character to make it look a little bit meaner. So let's do proportional there, and here on the arm I'm gonna put as well something control R. Losing my voice again. E to extrude, E to extrude again. Let's go for something pointy here. Might look cool when he's holding the weapon later on. I don't know. E to extrude. Rotate. It's like sculpting low poly, but it's not sculpting. It's like just box modeling, I guess. Rotate there. And then again, maybe something cooler here. It's like a samurai type of... we need to cover this leg that's just in the air somehow. So first of all, let's make it like this. Some really skinny upper legs. I don't know why they have that. Maybe so they're agile? Maybe, oh yeah, it's too bulky probably. So Alt-E, maybe extrude long face normals. Nope, that looks hideous, so let's not do that. Let's go E to extrude that. Let's pretend he's got some sort of a hip attachment here, like a hip replacement titanium. E to extrude, S to scale. Maybe we'll just reshape the body here a bit. So 132. I'm gonna spend the time in post to do all the tinkering anyway, and then I'm tinkering now instead. So, but I guess maybe I should bring that down a little bit so you can see. I'm okay with the hands just floating in the air, but I think we'll get away with that actually. When it grabs the weapon later on. Slightly bigger. Have I missed something vital? Probably, but that's okay. Let's do something here on the legs too. 1 minute to do. I'll just keep doing some armor plate tinkering here. We'll colorize it afterwards too, I think. I'll just do literally the modeling in this one. So, should we do R to rotate? I feel like I want to put some sort of armor plate here. She's got a very small chest area. A to select everything. Scale, Shift Z. Move it in. No, not happy with that. I don't know what I'm doing now. So, G. We'll analyze and fix after, I think. Scale. I've only got 20 seconds to go anyway, so let's put I to inset here. No, let's just extrude it then. E to extrude, S to scale. And here as well, something for the shoulders. E to extrude, some armor. E to extrude, S to scale. And rotate. Okay. Why did I make that sound? Dismiss. All right, so this is our starting point now. So this was the 10-minute modeling challenge. It was actually literally the modeling part that we did this one. Now I think I'm going to do, first of all, let's save this one so we've got the original. Spoiler alert, if you don't want to see the final image, look away now. And keep looking away until I say so, because we're going to be spending the rest of the video now continuing to refining this model, tweaking it. We're going to rig it, and we're going to weight paint a little bit. We're going to pose it into a weapons pose. We're going to add a weapon, and then we're going to do some lighting effects and some rendering. So this is what we're going to be achieving at the end of it. So if you stay for the whole video, you'll see the entire process. And now you can look back and enjoy the rest of the video. Okay, so we've got this character now. So to make him into in a less stressful manner now, let's try to see what we could change with him. First of all, I think he's a little bit too bulky for some reason. I need to get the proportions a little bit better so it looks more like those robots that I remember. I think they were skinnier or something. So let's try it. I'm just got proportional on now. So I'm going to grab a few faces like this and then just start pulling a little bit to see if I can give him a little bit more of a traditional, like, leaner look. So already there, I'm liking it, that it's giving some, like, slanted angles. Usually, I think they had a really narrow torso section. Again, it's like, if you think about it mechanically or something, I guess it's like it needs to be a little bit more agile, so it can't be too bulky everywhere. So it's got these region, so I already like that a little bit more. For the leg here, it might be an issue when we animate in the future that it's, but I don't think so, because you won't really see the parts inside there, and you can't do it mechanically correct anyway. So I think we're okay there. Rotate that one. Looks a bit too straight in the back. Could have been maybe, again, just some minor tweaks to the polygons there to make it look a little bit better. And the arch, like an arching back, that looks pretty good, I think. For the arm here, I'm not sure either. I think I'll do Alt select on that edge. Scale it down, funny enough, even if it's already skinny. And for this arm as well, I think I'll just tweak the polygons a little bit to make it. I don't know what I'm looking for really, but I think I'm not happy with, maybe it's the way that part goes. Maybe it was just that it was too much like uniformed or something. So let's tweak that. And I'm not too happy with how this goes. It looks like a life ring, life vest. So maybe, can I extrude this one? S to scale it. G to move it. And I think it's just too wide, this opening here. So let's grab that edge with proportional now. Bring it in, make it a little bit closer, just like there's a hole here for the head. And move that one up. I think again, the chest plate here needs to be bigger or something. Maybe the chest plate should come out a little bit more proportional off there. And this is too wide. So let's bring that in. And let's grab that one. And this one, I've got proportional. I'm not too worried about using proportional in low poly mode, to be honest. G. And I don't know if I should do something that extrudes here as well, maybe. Maybe that looks a bit too... No, that could work. Maybe I'll do the same here. Just for some more. It's like a mix between like Ninjago but that's got a lot more spiky bendy stuff and like transformery type of thing. I don't know. That one is annoying me more than usual. Let's get that one in. And I think I need to extrude. Let's see, we'll scale this one up. No, we won't. E to extrude it. Just get a little bit more geometry there, I think. And then here, I'm not happy at all with this. So let's get this one. Again, proportional in. Nope. I want to grab that one, move it in. I want to grab this one, move it out. Proportional. And this, I think I need to move up. I'm severely annoyed by the way this part of the leg looks at the moment. So let's make ourselves less annoyed with it. It's coming out way too much. I don't know if it could be like some thrusters under there or something. I don't know why he would have these. I guess it's some sort of a side shield or something. I think this is annoying me, that it's going out too much there. I don't really know what I'm looking for here. Maybe, what, like, you don't necessarily have to accept the geometry that you put there either. You could always like delete it and recreate it. Does it need? It probably doesn't need more extrusion. Usually you try to fix a problem by adding another one. That's never a good sign. Not happy at all with this. Let's cancel that one. I'm also afraid that I was going to go away from low poly there for a second. The poly count started to get to me a little bit nervously. So maybe like that. Let's see how long this took to fix afterwards now. I'll fast forward probably this part so you don't have to spend forever looking at this. All right, this is me again now from the editing studio, and I spent some more time on these, first of all on the legs. It took about 7 more minutes, like I showed you there, to actually get a shape that I was happy with. And in the end, I realized that my problem was that I was trying to inset and extrude stuff from the geometry, and it didn't feel like robotically enough, or whatever that means. So in the end, I found that when I marked the 4 faces that were facing out towards the side of the leg, I duplicated those 4 and I pressed Shift D to duplicate those to send them out to the side. And that was when I started to get a little bit happy. You're probably still wondering, what are you talking about? It still looks hideous. And it might do, but I was less annoyed with myself, at least, with this look. So this is the model that I ended up going for with the legs. And what I did was I added some geometry to get it a little bit pointy like this, like chevron style. I thought that added like a futuristic armor style look to it. And finally, I was able to put my mind a slight bit at rest. I didn't talk at this period because I was just sitting there focusing, going, what am I doing with my life? In a good way, I guess, because I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying this, so I'm not really too bothered. And it's funny looking at it from the side view like this, because the like when you look at it, all the geometry, like you look at why has he got like cow's feet or something, or pig's feet? And then I fixed that a little bit, and then I scroll, like it's quite wonky. You could refine this a lot, but then as well, I think to myself, like these models that we create, especially the low poly ones, then a lot of them are going to be viewed in game from a distance. And I've said this a lot of the time, and sometimes it's not worth obsessing over details. It might be better just to accept a few things the way they are, and then push ahead making your game. If that's what you're making, of course, if you're making assets for a game. So I was happy enough with the legs at this point. I moved up to the upper body and started to reshape it a little bit. And usually when you look at it for a while, then you start to realize what annoys you the most. And I just contradict myself because I said don't over obsess over details. But I guess a little bit of extra time could be spent. That's what I guess that's the trap that everyone sets, so you get there stuck. But I use proportional editing, even if I'm doing hard surface low poly style. I quite like to use proportional to try to like refine the model so it looks a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. When you create stuff like this, don't get annoyed if you get stuck a little bit too much in phases that you don't like. You feel like you're making no progression, or you get annoyed with yourself. Just allow that to happen, and it's gonna happen. It happens to me a lot. I create stuff that I don't like, and either I delete it or I live with it, or both. So just keep iterating, try to improve it, look at it from different angles, scroll around, see what it looks like, delete stuff that you're not happy with, Control Z as far as the the history buffer will allow you, and try to rectify it from there. And in the end, I think you'll reach a point where you're happy enough, and that's going to change over time as well. The more models that you make, the more picky you might become, but at the same time, the less picky you might become too. I'm just got to be quiet now. All right, I'll fast forward a little bit because I'm just doing so many minor tweaks here. So key message here: fix what you think needs fixing. Don't over obsess with details. Don't spend too much time on it, but if stuff is really annoying you, then try to get rid of those or fix those. So that's the key message. Enjoy the little time lapse until we get to the point where we are colorizing this model. Okay, so that took a little bit of time, but in the end, I think I got there. What I ended up doing was I hated the way the legs looked, and I ended up deleting the geometry there and starting over a little bit. Tried a few different ways, wasn't happy with anything. It wasn't until I actually detached a face like this. I detached this whole thing into a new section. I didn't want to extrude it from the existing leg. Maybe that's what was putting it off. So I just detached these two faces, moved them out, and then did these sort of pointy shapes. I went over the whole model as well, tweaked the feet a little bit, tweaked the armor plates here, lowered and brought the shoulders back in, remodeled slightly, still a very low poly rocket pack here. Changed the head around a little bit. It looked a bit too lame, so I wanted to get some more aggressive eyes, and then nearly like a breathing apparatus type of thing here in the front. I don't know what that is. And then some slight refinements as well, just to the general shape of the body. So again, this could be tweaked a lot more for... I'm not so happy with the way the arm looks here. For example, it's unnecessary geometry. I should have done the same as I did for the legs, where I just detached it instead and kept these probably a little bit straighter. Actually, in fact, this looks a bit too... so I might do X on that one and limited dissolve. Even on this one, X. Actually, I'll just do dissolve edges there. I think I want to bring that back into a simpler shape again. I was going to put those marks there that I did on the legs, on the arms, but I wasn't happy with the way that looked. So I think for the sake, then this is good. So let's save this as model step number 2. Part 2. So if you're not happy with what you modeled in the beginning, try just go over it over and again and see. Try to make little tweaks here and there and see if you feel better about it or if you feel less better about it. And just try to find a way where you're actually happy with the end result. And I think this is probably good enough for what we're trying to achieve for now. So I'm happy with this. Let's colorize it then. So I've got my texture here, and we can do maybe some glowing eyes instead. And then maybe some glowing parts on his body too. And I'm going to render this in Eve. So maybe we should I colorize it or rig it first? Let's colorize it first. I'm going to go for, take it from this into like this different type of blue, more like a steel blue or something there. And then let's stuff that's like indented like this one, for example, I want to bring to a much darker color. And same here, select the interfaces. Control plus I tried to do there, that didn't work. Maybe this whole cavity here, I'll go for dark too, like that. And then here, usually I try to find spaces which are, it's near like a fake ambient occlusion, where you go, okay, this one would be dark probably. So let's go for a darker color there. So it's not like lit correctly, but that's okay. And then for like these parts where the inner arms are, this would have been like shaded as well, or like darker. So let's put a blue or a darker color here on these. There, shift select a bunch of those. G, bring that to black. And maybe we should stick to that theme actually and go for like the upper legs here could be. Let's press L for all the linked ones there actually. Go a bit darker for those two. Same goes maybe the lower part of the leg here. Shift select these. Darker. And that could do. So that's maybe it's the specular lighting that's thrown out. It looks a bit shiny, but it should be all right. And equally, I guess we could go for like brighter parts as well then. So we'll do, if we do pretend that stuff is armor, maybe I can go for, should I go for a different, I had orange on, I like that for my platformer game. I did like an orange color. That could look pretty cool, I guess. Let's go for that one. See if this works. Not sure if this is going to work, but let's try. So Control plus. These are actually attached to the arm. This is where I made a mistake. I shouldn't have really attached those to the arm, really. But let's go for G. Move those up to there. And the hips here as well, I suppose. We'll go with the theme now. I think these are very similar colors to my Dominator guy that I did. He had some white on him as well, maybe. And then maybe the chest plate here too. Rocket pack. Maybe this is too bright, I'm not sure. That's too much. I'll go for a darker rocket pack then. With black nozzles there. I think I'll keep this in that color just to get the hip parts there. Hands could be darker too, like gloves. They don't have gloves. This one does. Okay, and dark feet. So that's our color scheme, simple as that. Let's just keep it, I guess. Could go for some darker here even. Again, like the fake lighting. And we've got some geometry poking through there. And that's okay. All right. I'm going to rotate him. Before I rig him, I'm going to rotate him because Unity likes him to face in the forward Y direction here. So let's go Control S to save that. Rotate Z 180. And then Control A and apply rotation. So it's important that this here in item is rotation is 0, 0, 0 when it's facing in this direction here. So should be good. Right, now let's rig him then. So we'll go to the front here. Then it's Control 1 on the keypad to see from his front again. And we'll do Shift A. This has been a while actually. Armature. So we'll do, I have to go see if I can remember. Viewport display in front. Let's bring tab into edit mode. Shift space G. Move that up into the torso. Bring it down. And I'm just going to do a simple 2-spine thing that I normally do here. So I'll do E to extrude. I think it's good to have, sometimes I usually only had 1 spine, but it's a bit too limiting when you do your animating. So I'll do 2 spines, even if it's just the top spine that controls the whole upper body here. And then E to extrude, we'll do one for the head here as well. But this one can be, this one will be, press Alt P and do clear parent. No, Alt P and disconnect bone. And then put the head here, like that. And then we'll do the arms here. So I'll do, let's see, front view there. So E to extrude. And I'll just do, like, this one won't be used really, collarbone, E to extrude, E to extrude, and E to extrude. For the hand, we actually need to introduce a little bit more geometry so it bends okay. So I'll just go Control R here, put a few loop cuts, Control R, a few loop cuts. It's just so it bends a little bit better. Because since we're going to grip a weapon, actually, I can't just have a single hand. I need to have, can't even get this thing right there. So if we put the hand is going to start there, and then I'm just going to do finger 1, finger 2, and then we'll have to do the thumb here as well. So top view, E to extrude. I guess I can just separate this one. I'll do Alt P, disconnect bone, put the thumb there. But this one also needs to be, I think it's connected to the wrong, it's connected to the lower arm here. So we have to change that. So I'll do shift, select the thumb, shift, select the hand, Control P, and keep offset. And now it's going to rotate. It looks a bit weird. It feels like it should be there, but it shouldn't. So now when you rotate the hand, the thumb will actually come along with it. And then for IK, I usually put that little twist here as well. So just put a little dent on the elbow, the way it helped the IK know how to fold it. And then for the leg here, E to extrude, middle mouse button locks it on the axis, pretty handy. G to move it there. And then we'll put the kneecap there, E to extrude. Remember, middle mouse button locks it on an axis. And then E to extrude. The feet look weird here, but they could be fixed. And then we need to select this upper bone, shift select this one, Control P, and keep offset so it follows the root bone there as well. And same thing from the side view here. I'm going to do a little dent on the knee so the leg knows how to fold on the knee, on the IK in various kinematics. And then for the here, I usually just go from the heel, or from the the area where the foot is attached to the tip of the toe there. That should do. And then now we're going to name these important. So F2 root, F2 spine 1, F2 spine 2. We don't need a neck, it doesn't have one. F2 head, and then F2 shoulder. And here's important, dot L, because it's his left shoulder, and for symmetry to work we have to have the dot L. So F2 upper arm dot L, F2 lower arm dot L, and then here for the hand we'll go hand dot L, finger 1 dot L, finger 2 dot L, and then here thumb dot L. And then for the leg, upper leg dot L, lower leg dot L, foot dot L. Capital L, please. Thank you. All right, so now we've got the main parts of the hand there, or the whole skeleton set up. So now we can, let's do the IK as well, since we're going to pose him. So I'll select that joint, Control 3 to see from the side view, E to extrude, And then here, Alt-P and clear parent, move it. This is where the knee is going to be pointing towards. And then here for the same, E to extrude. And then select it, Alt-P and clear parent. Oh, but that one stays in the same place though. So Alt-P, clear parent. This one we're going to name IK leg.pole.l. And this one is going to be ikleg.target.l. And then we have to disable deform on these. So go to the little bone tab there and disable deform on this one. And what more should we do? Have to remember now. So we'll go to the lower leg and do here. I have to go to pose mode, control tab. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. Pose mode, control tab, go into pose mode. And here, go to this add bone constraint, inverse kinematics. And then we'll do target is going to be IK. Okay, so I can't pick that one. Armature. This has been a while. IK target. And then here, armature. And here, IK leg pole. That's it. And it flips out like this because we need chain length to 2 for the leg there. And then pole angle needs to be, let's see, 90. So it points forward. And now when we move the leg, it should be okay like this. There's one thing I forgot to do actually, which is important. I'll go to Control 1 on the front view here. And then I'll do tab into edit mode, A to select everything. And then do Alt N. No, Shift N. No. Control N. Okay, sorry. So select the armature, tab into edit mode, select all the bones, and then do, is it Shift N? And then go recalculate roll on view axis. And that's so that later on when all the roll angles will be correct for pose flipping later on. So that's a bit of a hint there for you. So let's go back into pose mode and see Control 3. Go here. That one works. We still have the foot issue that we usually have. So when you lower the body like this on the torso, the toe points, so that doesn't work. So to fix that one, there's probably multiple fixes, but I usually do it this way. I go to relations on the bones there, and then disable inherit rotation. And then here comes some quirks here. Then we go back into the constraints here, and then we add a copy rotation. Pick the target armature, pick the bone, it's the IK target.l. But here it flips all the way around, so I need to go to local space and local space. And when you rotate this one, it goes the opposite direction there, both on the red axis there on the axis, and it goes correct on the blue axis, but it goes wrong on the roll as well, so on the Y. So we need to flip here on this one. We need to invert the X and Y axis. I usually get that one wrong anyway, so let's see. That works as expected. Z, that works, and rotate on the X axis. Oh, sorry, rotate on the Y axis. That now works too. So now we're set up to do the pose flipping here. I'll do object mode, A, select all the bones, F3, symmetry, and then now we've got, that's why the .L was really important, because if we look at one of these bones now, F2, it's named it automatically to .R there. So let's save this one as a new one, rigged. And I'm adding these to, after this episode now, I actually upload a new batch of my 10-minute modeling challenge to my Patreon. So patreon.com/Imphenzia, you can actually download this character. Pretty cool, huh? So I'm not going to animate him into an animation for now. I'm just going to pose him in this video. I've got a lot of other animations, so never mind. I'll animate him at some point probably. So now let's get him into a pose. So to do that, I need to Control Tab into pose mode, and then I'm just going to go into, should I go to the animation tab? Yeah, let's go into the animation tab. Change the dope sheet into action editor, click new here, and then I usually save this default pose and I name it underscore so it goes at the top, T pose. Select all the bones, I to insert, I to insert, and then I'll do location and rotation. So, and I should have actually been at frame 0. So let's go back there. And now I'll do I to insert location rotation. So now we've saved the T-pose. And I click this little fake user thing so we don't accidentally lose our animations. I usually protect them that way. Now I can duplicate this one and then just do weapon pose. And then save that one. And now I'll be able to put them into pose that we like. So I'll go back into the UV editing. I like to work in here. Everything's set up. So now we could, oh, we need to link him too. So I'll do select the character now, shift select the armature, control P. I'm going to try with automatic weights here. So armature deform with automatic weights. And for a lot of organic characters that work, and for low poly, it could have a lot of issues now with detached. So let's figure out. So you can see that it's not really ideal in the way that when you rotate the arm here, it actually changes the metal plates of this character. So it's not necessarily the best way to do for these characters. See, that one looks really weird as well, how it stretches. So I'll have to cancel out of that. So let's go all the way back so it's not linked anymore. It's going to be a little bit more tedious to link this character, so I'll explain what I'm doing, but maybe you can do it in a different way. So what I'll do now is I still select the character, shift select the armature, control P, and then I do with empty groups. Now it creates the vertex groups for each bones for this character here. So if I go to the character now, vertex here, then you can see that it's got all these vertex groups already. So now I need to assign the right vertices here to the right group. So it's a bit of a painful way to do it, but let's just start. So I'll start from the top here. So everything that's going to be connected to the root here, and that's going to be this part of the body. And in order to do that, I need to should detach this. So the torso is actually a solid piece instead then. I'll do shift select. See, how should we do this actually? I think I'll do it this way. Control plus to mark all of these. And then I'm going to press Y now to disconnect this. So it's actually in a separate part. So we can hide this one, L, and press H to hide it. F to cap this one, so it's like a solid piece. And I don't really mind if it's going to be gaps and stuff, so F. So Alt H to unhide it. And I realize here now that I've missed a few. These are orange, so it looks a bit, let's see, Control plus. Okay, I missed those, so L. Well, and then we can press Control J to join these again, I think. L to select linked. Oh. What's the button to join these again? We can do merge by distance, I guess. L to select link. Now this one is one piece there. So this part is one piece. That's okay. Lower arm is one piece. This is one piece. I'm pressing L here just to check that they're... Here we can actually link these together. No, they're already linked. They're linked. They're linked. Everything. It's just this one that's manageable. So now we'll try this again then. We'll do select this one. Oh, it's already got all the bones. So L to select all the linked here. Assign these now to the root. You can't really see any difference here. We could have gone into weight paint at some point to see. Here, I'll select all the linked. Here, I'm actually going to do the same here. So I'll do shift select those. Or no, I'll ring select this. Y to detach it. L to select all the upper. H to hide that. And now we can cap this one. So F to select that one. And what I'll do is I'll just do some internal geometry here. So actually it doesn't like look like empty space. I'm just doing a bit blind there. So now it's just like a torso clump there. And then I should also select L to select the linked here, H to hide it, and we need to also cap this one. Or is that already capped? Yeah, that's okay. That's already got a face there. And then, but the upper body here, we need to do the same. So Alt H to unhide it, L to select the linked, hide. That's got a face. We need to create a face here. So F. And now that's a solid face too. Alt H to unhide it. So that's a bit, you'll get used to that process. Now what I can do is do L to select the linked, which is just going to be this internal thing here. Oh, this is a problem. L, L. These need to be linked. So M merged by distance. Now that became one clump there. So we've got that selected. That should be on spine 1, assign. And then here, L to select all the linked here, the upper body, assign this one to spine 2. L to select the head and go assign. And here we go. L to select, we're not going to have anything on the shoulder actually. So L to select this part and go upper arm.L. L to select this part, lower arm.L. L to select the hand here, hand.L. And then same for the leg, L. Okay, the hands we have to do manually. I'll weight paint those, I think. So come back to the leg here. It's going to be upper leg.L, assign. L to select the linked, L to select the linked. Assign this one to the lower leg.L and L to select that one and go foot. So now we can try it, Control T. That works. And you see now that we did it this way, it forces all the weights to 100% when we do it. So it look a lot better for rigid objects like a robot like this. And I don't really care if it penetrates like this. I'll just live with that. So it's not worth the effort to try to prevent that from happening. So let's see, we've got body movement. Oh, the rocket pack there, we can attach as a separate object anyway. Rotate the head, that works. The legs work there as well. Woo! And then this works and that works. And since we have the symmetry thing, everything works out of the box, so we're okay to go. But we need to fix the hand and the backpack. So I advise maybe the backpack will do L, L, and then P, and separate this into a whole new object altogether here. F2, call it rocket pack. And this one, we can just make it so I'll actually even do set origin to surface volume there. Okay, that doesn't work because it's got the stupid mirror modifier. So let's apply the mirror modifier. Right click, set origin to center of mass there. And then also I'll take away the armature there. So now it's not going to follow it still, but we can put a constraint on this one. So I'll go to, on this object now, go to the constraints tab, add constraint, child of, pick the armature, and then I usually pick spine 2 here, and then set inverse. So now this is a child of that object, so the backpack will follow all together. And that the nice way of doing it this way is that you can disable the rocket pack then, so it doesn't have one. So you can have all the props that you're going to do. It's going to be that way. Okay, we need to fix the hand still though, unfortunately. So Control Tab, and for that I think I'll go into weight paint mode. Should I? Or should it? No, I will just try it. Or weight paint. Yeah, let's try it. So I'll select the armature, shift select the character, Control P, and go into weight paint. And then with the hand selected there now, I'm just gonna hopefully not grab the body. So let's just get, I'm just gonna do this like decent enough for the video. I have to be careful not to get anything of the actual arm though. So maybe like that, and then shift select to select the next bone, and shift select, and then paint the tips here. This probably is going to deform horribly, but we can live with that. Shift select this, shift select, I'll double click A there just to deselect, and then shift select to get that. And there we go. Maybe this will work if we're lucky. Let's try it. Control Tab, go back into pose mode. Okay, object mode first then. Select Control Tab, and let's hope this works. No, that doesn't work. I'm missing a vertex there. So a couple of vertices there don't have any painting at all. That looks hideous too. So we'll have to fix this a little bit. So select the armature, shift select the object, Control P, weight paint, and then shift select here. We need to make sure that we got a few more vertices here. And then double click A, shift select the tip one here. That one's sorted. Control Tab. And then we need to get all of them connected to the thumb here, I think. Control T. Oh no. select that one, shift select this one, control tab, weight paint. And everything needs to go through the thumb, I think. Hopefully this will go good enough now. So control tab, object mode, and control tab, pose mode. Okay, and the problem here is that we've still got verts that are connected to the tip there. That's no good. What I could do actually is, let's angle this one. Control tab, pose mode, rotate it. So maybe if we do it with a pose, we'll be able to see how it behaves. So control tab, shift select, control tab, weight paint. Because now with the pose you can actually see a little bit better than here. We've got a problem. Everything's linked to the hand, so I need to set the weight to 0 there. That was one of the things that were really messing it up. Because the hand shouldn't affect the digits at all. That should do, I think, hopefully. For our purpose. Okay, I think that's going to be good enough, you know. Control tab into object mode and control tab on the armature pose mode. Yeah, that should be good. Okay, I think that'll solve our needs anyway. Hopefully this one tagged along on the journey. Yeah, that'll be good enough. So that took a bit of time. Still recording. Yeah, that's good. All right, let's save this one as a new one. So this one will have quite a few painted. Weight painted. So now we need to put them into the pose then. So we'll go back into the animation tab, and we don't actually need to do that. I can be here. Oh no, I need to go to the animation. I just need to change here. So we'll go to texture, shadow, cavity, both. So we get the same viewport feel here. There we go. And then here we can do, I was going to do rendered, but we can't actually. So now we're going to do the pose then. I'll do weapon pose. We've already got that one. And so I'll put automatic keyframing on here. Oh, we need to do the weapon first. We need to do the weapon first. So switch that one off. Go back here into this mode. And for this one, I'm just going to do, let's do shift right click here on this hand. Shift A, create a mesh. Let's make a cube. Tab into edit mode. Scale it down. And A, scale 0. And let's give him a black weapon here. Scale, and then here I just have to make a weapon of some sort. First of all, I should have actually moved. Usually I put the center, the pivot point where the weapon handle is going to be, and we're going to model it so it's in his right hand here. Let's put it right there, and then shift right click the character here, press Control L and do link materials. Had I done that already actually? No. Tab into edit mode, and we've got ourselves a black color there. So L to select the linked vertices, scale it down. Here's going to be just the handle for this weapon. So to model a weapon, I'm just going to do something primitive. So we've got something to do. So I'll just box model like something like a stock thing here. So E to extrude that on. Control R maybe, loop cut. And we'll do E to extrude, S to scale, E to extrude. Should we do it? E to extrude, S to scale, E to... Should we do I to inset? No, we'll do scale. I don't know what I'm doing here. As usual. But we'll put a magazine type of thing here. I think it needs to be bigger. Like for some reason, like characters like this should have big weapons, shouldn't they? Scale. So let's make it a proper big one, like that. And then let's put a magazine here. We'll put some loop cuts. I'll usually do this for my low poly weapons. put maybe two height inset, Alt S to scale. And then here we'll put a magazine, Shift D, scale Z, scale X, E to extrude a big magazine. We could bend it a bit more commando-like, so should be facing the other way. Actually. Usually the bends go forward, don't they? Yeah, I think so. E to extrude, R to rotate, Control plus, I think. There. Let's put something, needs to be wider here, doesn't it? Scale Z. Why am I upside down? I want to be upside down. Scale Z. Okay, so we've got the handle there. Again, I don't have time, unfortunately, to do too much because this video is probably already going to be quite long. So let's go for Shift D, duplicate, E to extrude, E to extrude, E to extrude. Some rail thing on the top here for site mounting. Control R, loop cut. Two holes here, one for the bullets and one for the grenades maybe. And I think that should do. Should make this bulkier too. Alright, let's just keep it that primitive. We could colorize it though. Should it go... We can make this light up as well, but let's make it blue for now. Light blue. Alright, so that's going to be his weapon. Let's pick... Oh, I was in... There we go. So, F2, weapon. And the pivot points are in the correct place. And here's the nice thing now. We could actually just make a child of constraint for this one too. So I'll go to this one, add object constraint, child of, pick armature, and then here it's going to be hand.r. So there we go. And then set inverse to get it back. And now it should already follow this. So when we post this one now. Okay, I've got some issues here. Unfortunately. Okay. So I see what's happened. Something is, when we weight painted the hand here, Control Tab, I've got somehow verts here that are part of objects groups that we don't want. And you can, let's see, where can we do here? We can see in here. Okay, for some reason that vert has got foot to it, which we don't want. L. Okay, so I've got some dodgy foot and thumb is okay. Foot, however, I assigned a foot here. That's so way wrong. Okay, seems to be all about the foot, so let's do L here to select the linked. Let's do vertex. Save first, because I can't remember. Say Control G is it. Okay, so foot here. Okay, Control G. We'll have to select active group, foot.l. Control G, remove all, let's see, from active group. There we go. Now it shouldn't be a single foot here anywhere. No, we're all right. So I don't know why, I must have done something wrong there. Hopefully now we're back into Control Tab, object mode, Control Tab, and now, yeah, we're back in business. So Control S. Let's get that pose going now then. So we've got the pose and the lighting to go, and then we should be finished. Gonna be in for a long run. I've got to edit this too. So let's get that pose going now. We've got weapon there. So to get the stance then, should I actually colorize it here a little bit too? There. So I'm gonna bring it down. I'm gonna step forward a bit with one leg. Let's say this one, Shift Space G to get this little thing. And then rotate on the Z axis, maybe on this one. Step back with this leg. I'll have to do comma and global because I need to be in a different space here. Maybe that's too far. Rotate Z. Rotate head Z. Let's bring the arm down. Let's bring this arm up. Rotate rotate, and I'm just gonna manually like fix this now. Rotate. Let's see, rotate the arm, rotate. I don't use inverse kinematics usually for low poly arms. Find it causing too much problem switching between IK and FK too much. So I usually just try to match my animations instead low poly for the low poly like this. So it's a bit tedious to do it, but don't want to upgrade that. That's one giant weapon. I was going to say for mankind, but it wasn't probably. Or it might be for mankind. It might be to come here and solve our issues. Who knows? Rotate hand. Rotate. I could do an idle pose maybe. A little idle animations. Then we have to just wrap the fingers around. It's a bit tricky, but you get used to looking at the geometry, even if it's like going through like that. So that could be do. That could be do. Scooby-Doo. Okay, now I need to do comma, do local. So when I rotate now, I get the bone axes here instead. So rotate. Okay. I'm not going to be picky with this. That pose should do it. He needs to step out a little bit. Consider his weight distribution. Rotate. G. He could be looking maybe in a different direction, slightly forward. Should we arch him slightly? Rotate that forward and rotate this backwards. I think that foot needs to go out a little bit too. It's a bit awkward to rotate the feet, unfortunately. I don't feel like they rotate. I think that might have set something slightly up wrong with the... Let's get that bend. I stop half sentences again, sorry about that. Okay, so that might be our pose. We could do hide the armature there to see. Yeah, that works. Actually, this arm looks a bit too weird, so I'll have to go down. Let's rotate. Yeah, put the camera in the angle to help you rotate. That's how I do. So we got the weapon pose here. We recorded all those keyframes, so we should be good to go. If you want to make sure, you can have everything selected there. I to insert and location rotation keyframe, just to make sure. So now back into, we can hide it. And then now I'm just going to light this and render it. So tab into edit mode. Let's do a little floor here. Shift C to get the cursor back. Shift A. Let's do a mesh. Let's make a cube. Bring it down. L, scale, Shift Z. There. And then we'll make this one, scale it down, black, make it into like a gray color. Oh, I don't have the material. So select the cube, shift select the guy here, control L and link materials, and then you get that across. So now we're just gonna do, if I render now F12, it's in Eevee. I don't have any lights set up. So first of all, let's move the camera so he's facing the camera. Hide there. G to move this one and rotate, and let's get him back into view. G. That should be okay. And that angle might work. Maybe a little bit more from the front. Rotate. G. There we go. And we need some lights as well. So if I just do Shift A here and add a light, let's do a point light, G, and get some side light here. Rotate. Oh no, sorry, I wanted the sun. Shift A, light, and let's do a sun. And now rotate and up and down. And now if we do F12, we should be able to render it. So this is the default Eevee render now, just with the light, just like a sunlight from the side. So this is where we're going to make it a little bit more interesting now. So this is the final bonus part of this long video. To make it look a little bit more interesting, first of all, I'm going to get him into view a little bit better. So we're going to do some magic now when it comes to colorization, I think, from what I've learned recently. So again, actually we can switch this one now. Let's go make some more room here now. And here I'm going to switch it. So I'll press Z here and go rendered. So now we can see the rendering effect all the time here. So first of all, just to change the colors, we could get his eyes to light up, I guess. What should we do first? No, here's the biggest change anyway. Select this light and I'm going to go color and make this into a blue light. Increase the strength a bit. And we can see real time here what's happening on the left. So there we go. I'm going to keep it quite blue, like that, even stronger. And then duplicate this light now, or rotate it a little bit. Shift D to duplicate it, rotate it, like from this angle. And change this one into red. There we go. So let's make some other changes here too. We can get his eyes to light up. So I'm going to do emission. I've set this palette up now, as you might remember from previous videos. So check out historic videos, but you can download this in the description. It's I'll just quickly run through it. In the shader editor here, I've got 3 different textures. I've got this one, which is the palette texture, and I'll show you what it looks like. Albedo. It's this one. So it's got all the colors here. There's the camera. And it feeds it into the base color. And then here, I've got an emission one. So the emission feeds into the emission with strength 10 here. And that's just black all the way here, so it won't light up anywhere. But down in the lower right quadrant, it's got the further the left into a cell, the lighter it'll be, the more emissive it'll be, like light up. And the further to the right in the cell, it'll be darker. And then I've also got an opacity one here. So this one is set at the top right. All the colors will go all the way from the left, they're opaque or solid. And the further the right into the light or the color cell, the more transparent it'll be. So again, that's why these look the same here. It's because the top right here is opacity controlled and the bottom right here is emission controlled. So that's our material. And if I go back into the UV editing, okay. Oh, it's because I've switched the texture. So in the shading here, it's whatever texture you've got active here. So click on this one, UV editing. If you lose your texture, that's why that is. So with that said now, then you know that we can tab into edit mode of the character now, select the eye, and then change down to the lower right here now, then I can find the emissive colors. So if you wanted to have like a bright orange shiny color for the eye there, then they light up, which is pretty good. We could also have the weapon light up in the same way. So if I select these 2 that are blue, instead of moving them from up here, we'll go to the lower right quadrant, and then they'll start to light up a little bit instead. So let's put them maybe there. And we also need to change some render settings, because if I do F12 now, it still looks quite plain, the character itself. So there's a few things we can do to fix that as well. First of all, maybe I should have a backlight too. So I'll take this one, make it even stronger. Shift D to duplicate it. Rotate. G, move it from the back. This one could be an orange. And rotate it. There we go. And then now let's configure the render settings a little bit. So first we want to enable bloom, and with bloom you get that little extra like light effect there. So we could go change the radius of it or threshold, depending on how much you want it. Intensity we could ramp up. So I'm just going to stick to the Eevee renderer for now. Another thing we could do is to change, we want ambient occlusion. And if you tick this one, it won't really make a difference straight away. And that's because we need to set it up. And I have to remember where to set it up now. It's in, oh yeah, this is what we need to do. Go to layers, enable ambient occlusion. Go into rendering. No, let's go into compositing. We've got AO here now, so I'll do Shift A here. I'm already doing actually a glare node here and a mix node, so I'm getting the alpha, putting a background image on it. Here, that's why I'm mixing the image with an alpha FAC into just, that's how I get that blue background. Shift A, mix node, image to the bottom, AO to the top, and then send that one into there instead. There we go. Okay, final touches now. I'm going to change this light into a point light instead. Oh no, a spotlight. Let's bring it the intensity up maybe 10,000. And change the radius. Goes a little bit smoother. The blend like that. Same for the red one here. I'll change this one into a spotlight. Maybe 10,000 as well. Change the blend. And this one will change the spotlight too. 10,000. Okay, we'll do 2,000 on that one, just blending, make it a little bit smoother. And we could also change the material slightly. Shading, let's go for Z so we can actually see the rendered result here. And then for the material, maybe we'll do it a little bit more metallic. And a little bit less rough, so it looks a bit more metallic-like. There we go. And we could also enable on rendering here, we could go to screen space reflections. Bring down the roughness, bring up the metallic. So the metallic says how reflective. Oh, there's the camera. So the metallic here says how reflective the surface should be for the screen space reflections in Eevee, and the roughness here says how rough the material is going to be. So if it's all the way down here and very metallic, it'll reflect quite a lot. But I just want to have a slight effect to it, so let's go for a little bit metallic. See if we can play with the specularity too. Maybe that's good. And go back into the UV editing. And do F12. If it's too dark, we could also just add here on the background. So instead of, let's see, surface here, I'll go background. And then I'm just going to pick. I downloaded some random HDRI images before. We can try to just pick one that I had. So environment texture. And then lower it to 0.1. Gives it a little bit more light to it as well. Let's go full trace position, 100%. And radius, change the radius. Before we finish as well, there's some pros and cons with every renderer, I'd say. The Eevee is really good because it's super fast, and that's what I like most about it. It also has the ambient occlusion, which is pretty cool, but there you get the shading that you see if I do F12 to render. You see these fake lighting things. Cycles don't really need that, but if I switch to cycles, it's slower first of all, but I'd say that the result of the render itself is a lot better in cycles. It's grainier and the noise reduction will work. So if you can live with the rendering times, usually I prefer cycles most of the time because it just gives a better accurate rendering result. But one thing I really like is, you know that I love this workbench renderer. So if I go to workbench here, set rendering to 32 samples, we'll switch to texture, shadows will enable, and we'll do outline, cavity, which I really like, both, max these out. So one good thing about this one is that it creates these awesome looking lines on the edges, and I've been looking for ways to replicate that in Eevee, and I haven't. Not exclusively Eevee. You can do some beveled edges. You can do some buffer rendering, I think, in Cycles and bringing in the data to Eevee, but I'd like to get everything just working in Eevee if I'm going to find a solution. But with the workbench render, I really like it. I think it's a cool result to get these shiny edges. So my tip, if you're not gonna, even if you're gonna do an animation, but especially if you're gonna do a single render that you want to look extra good, I'd probably combine the workbench renderer with. So I'll combine the workbench renderer with Eevee or Cycles. So let's do that as a test. I'll just render this one, F12. This is how fast this one is. I'll save it, save as, and then we'll do workbench render. And then what I'll do is I'll take the Cycles, or the Eevee, well, let's do that one, that's the quicker one. So we'll do the Eevee with the cool lighting effects there. So this one, and we'll save that on. There we go. And now I recommend that, actually we should get this pose as well, shouldn't we? That's pretty cool. Let's do that one too. And let's render this one. So here's the Eevee one. Let's render this one, EV2. And let's do the workbench too with the cavity setting. So it's the cavity settings super important because I really like the look of that one. So save workbench render 2. So I just brought it into Photoshop now, so I've got the Eevee render here, and then I'm going to drag the workbench render onto it and just overlay it like this. And then I switch this one to color dodge, and that combines, if I enable and disable, you can see that it actually brings in the cool edges from the workbench renderer. Zoom in to 100% so it doesn't look so. You get the glowing edges from the workbench renderer and the cavity settings, and it adds it onto the Eevee rendering, so you get all the both of best worlds there. And you could do the same with the Cycles if you prefer that look as well. This one was set up to be rendered in Eevee. We can also do the same here with I'll drag the second view here in. We'll get that pose from the Eevee, and then I'm gonna drag my workbench render on top, and then switch from normal here to color dodge, and that's brings this effect in, and you can change it with the opacity of the layer here, how much you want this effect. And one final twist that I like to do sometimes is I like to sharpen it. So I combine these, right click them into a single layer here, merge layers, and then just go to filter and sharpen. There we go. And that's probably the crispest looking model then. And unfortunately you can't use this in a game render engine yet because the workbench doesn't work, the cavity. I'm still looking into that one. Sorry, I haven't had the time to follow up the assets that's coming that someone is doing. But I think if you're going to render images, this is a cool way to go. And you could do this for animations as well. If you render PNG cycles of an animation, then you could definitely have it so that it does the Eevee render, and then just another layer in your video editing software, and then just do the workbench one on top with the color dodge. You can also play around with the different, doesn't have to be the color dodge, you could do add, you can do overlay, could be cool as well, but I like the color dodge probably the most. So a few tips there for your final post-processing of your images. All right, guys, that's going to be it for this week. A bit of a lengthy one, but we covered a lot of stuff. We modeled ourselves a character, fixed it in post, rigged it, weight painted it, fixed it a little bit like that, posed it, modeled a weapon, put the weapon in his hand, and then added some Eevee lighting for some Eevee rendering. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. And also, I've got a Patreon, so go to patreon.com/Imphenzia, and you can actually download this very scene there. I'll be uploading this one very shortly, so along with the most recent episodes. All the 10-minute modeling challenges models are there for you to download, if you're a patron, of course. So, again, thanks a lot, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.